Hello, good afternoon. Thank you everybody for keeping up here until late. So my name is Cayetano Hernandez. I'm head of FRV-X, the innovation area of FRV, where we focus on hydrogen projects around IPP. Hope you like the presentation today.
Hello, thank you, Cayetano. I'm Felipe Hernandez. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer of FRV, and I've been in the company for a long time, going through all the path that we have followed from being a small solar company to be a company focused in the global energy transition. So first of all, I would like to explain a bit who we are and why we are here. So FRV is a company focused in the energy transition. We started like a Spanish solar developer, but we identify very early, in a very early stage, the necessity of the innovation and the growth. So first, we start with the international growth, opening new markets, taking an experience that could be very useful, like we will see later, to open also new markets in hydrogen. But it was not just a matter of new countries. It was a matter of business models, because initially, maybe some of you remember, it was a feed-in tariff, very easy business model. Then it has to evolve to tender process, then to PPA, and now we are in complex PPA agreement with firm capacity and so on. So we have faced the necessity to implement new technologies, new business model, and take a look for the customer. Because initially, our customer was the government, something that is very different, but we have to be able to the industrial customer, people that has a business model and necessity, and we have to cover that. So it is an experience that we will see that we think we can extrapolate very well to the new necessities of the hydrogen industry. So just to give you numbers, we will have this year 2 gigawatts of renewable projects under operation in our balance sheet. We are long-term investor, an IPP. We have more than 3 gigawatts in a very early stage of development. It means that this project will start construction in the next 2 years, and a large pipeline of more than 23 gigawatts that, like you can see in the map, we are very well located also in relation with the expected hydrogen hubs in Australia, south of Europe, and Latin America. And also we have created this innovation internal hub where Cayetano is, in order to be able to incubate and develop the new business model, to be sure that we have enough flexibility to be able to define the project concept what it is required.
Okay, thank you, Felipe. We think that one of the main challenges of our era is climate change, and what we can do is to work through decarbonization and energy transition. To get this decarbonization, we believe hydrogen is key, especially to decarbonize the hard-to-abate sectors, and also together with electrification. But does this have a challenge? We believe yes. And we believe there are challenges in 2 main blocks. First, from the project life cycle of the value chain, and also to structure a framework to be able to develop hydrogen projects. Regarding the value chain, we think there are 3 main areas: no? The production, the supply chain, or transportation, and we have a demand. From the project development side, we believe this is in fact the key part of a hydrogen project. Energy is key, is the main cost that we have in an energy project, as you know, the LCOE, to get a competitive LCOH, which in the end is the leverage cost of hydrogen, and the main driver to develop the hydrogen market. And on the production, we think there are several things. No? First, that we need to collocate hydrogen projects close to renewable energy generation. That is important, no? And this is where we spend our time to select the best sites with best renewable resource, to do a good land secure and permitting. No? You know that this is also a complex thing. Regarding the supply chain, it's also very important, no? To connect the production and the demand. First, we also need to be able to have blending or to see to have the plants close to the demand. And the demand on the supply chain, we have the problem of the lead times. As you know, the hydrogen electrolyzers have been one of the main challenges that we had. And there is a new complexity that we didn't have in the past. No? For example, on the production side, we, as Felipe was saying, we are an IPP. We are used to develop renewable projects. But with hydrogen, we have new challenges. What are these challenges? For example, to do hybridization of projects. So we will need to have wind and solar projects in order to increase the capacity factor. But also, there is complexity along the projects because there is not only electricity projects anymore. So we need to have chemical skills, electrification skills. So we will need, we will have challenges, no, that we didn't have in the past, no, because this is something that is in between electrification and oil and gas sector. And I think this is very important, the cooperation between companies to get successful projects. And yeah, maybe for the PPA, Felipe, you can give some words.
Yes, no. Talking with the off-takers, we find an important point of conflict, let's say. And it's the concept of how to sell chemical products and gases. Up to now, we are talking about the gases, ammonia, methanol, whatever, a spot market of commodities with a high fluctuation of the prices and volatility. But now we are with a business that is pure CapEx with no OpEx. Because some people say, okay, you have the CapEx of the electrolyzer, so on, and you have the OpEx of the energy. But energy is not an OpEx for us. Why? Because we are working with renewable energy. The renewable energy OpEx is almost zero. It's all CapEx. So we are creating a new business model very similar to infrastructure. Well, it's an infrastructure business at the end with CapEx. And we are facing a market that is based in that is very fluctuate with a high volatility, and it's something that the business model cannot support. I think that from both sides of the table, we should understand the importance and the value of the long-term contracts with fixed prices, because of course, for the customer, we lose some kind of opportunities when the market is low, but also will get a very good advantage because they will hedge the price. So they will not have to face against the problems of the last year to peaking of the prices. And we have seen with the electricity how so many factories in Spain and in Europe have been forced to close. So the market will transform, and we will move to a market where the prices of the chemical products, the ammonia, methanol, so on, will be fixed, and it has the advantage for the final customer that will have a very clear view of what will be the price of the final product in the long term. And it's also required by the finance. To make this project viable, we need to make a structured finance long term, 15, 20 years, and it is possible to be done just in case the lender has a clear view and securitization of the revenues. So it is something that cannot be done with some kind of HPA linked to the raw material price, because some year will be high, some year will be low, and the lender will not assume this kind of risk. So it's very important to take this concept that like in the energy, the large consumer has evolved to long-term PPA with fixed price. Here in the chemical area industry, should happen the same.
Thank you, Felipe. As you were saying, demand is also key for hydrogen and having off-takers. As you know, currently the European targets are 55% of reduction on gas emission, and there is this target of 10 million tons to be produced in Europe and another 10 million out of Europe. But this scale is also being achieved in the world. So right now the current demand is 100 million tons of hydrogen, mainly gray. And the idea is to increase this demand around 8 times. No? And not only increase the demand, but also change, make a switch on the production from gray to green, where we'll have now is very few, just 2% of green production, and we'll get into 2/3 of green. No? So this means that we have a big challenge. Internationally, in the next 5 years, 2,400 gigawatts will be installed. This means that renewable energy will become the main source of energy in the electricity matrix, and this is also a big challenge, I think. And it will be, I think, a big milestone, because it will be the first source after it will be before coal, which should have been, after all these years, the main source of energy. And also, at the same time, we want to make scalable projects. So we want to do all these things, but much faster than in previous things. No? So the largest project that we have is 20 megawatts currently, and in all these conferences we are talking about gigawatts of projects. So we think it's very important the cooperation in all these stages, from the production, transport and distribution, demand, finance. So we need everybody on the equation, and yeah, hope we can have all these challenges solved before our final project, that we will also introduce the project that we have.
So very quick, because we are almost on time. So just to give you an image of what we were talking about, when people like Cayetano says talk about a 1 gigawatt project with a 2 gigawatts solar plant. 2 gigawatts solar plants imply probably 5,000 hectares project. So it's highly complex. Develop these projects, get the land, manage after that. We are talking in this kind of project, millions of PV modules, tens of thousands of inverters. So we are entering a very complex world that this kind of skill to manage this project and develop are very important. And of course, the supply chain of that, doing these projects in middle of nowhere is not easy. That's and the energy market is very variable. You need to master the energy markets to be sure that you will be able to meet your commitments. And a good example of this kind of ecosystem that Cayetano was talking about is the NEOM project, the big project that is been doing in Saudi. If you see the partners, you will find that this project is Aqua, that is a large renewable energy IPP with a specific chemical products company that all together are able to manage and deliver this kind of project. No one of them alone, just together. So Cayetano, very quick.
Yeah. So finally, very briefly, you give us some seconds. We want to give an overview of our projects. As we said, we focus on hydrogen or strategy in 3 regions of the world: Spain, Chile, and Australia. We are currently developing 3 gigawatts of projects between hydrogen and derivatives. Also, ammonia and methanol are the derivatives that we have chosen to develop projects. Mainly, we are developing these projects in Latin America. But also in Spain, we are looking for new opportunities to decarbonize industries like cement and others. And we just final thing that we have very two advanced projects in Spain. One around industry, to produce hydrogen for industry, where we got a grant to subsidize 30% of the project for next generation, and also a project around mobility. So hope you enjoy the presentation, and thank you very much to be here until the end.
Thank you.